Okay, guys, we are live. It's been a while. I've got Jackie Boy on from Anfield Road TV. Congratulations, Jack, actually, for passing your big exams. I seen you with the wig. I seen you with the gown on, the wig on, the hat on. Congrats, bro. Fair play to you. Unbelievable. What was it, a media exam or what was it?
Me Bachelor of Arts in Moving Image Production, which is good. It's been a busy year for me anyway, mate. But massive thank you, mate. Yeah, as obviously, hence why I created YouTube. I love media and do like loads of wedding videos and all that behind the scenes anyway. So, I enjoy not more than picking up a camera, mate. But the work continues behind the scenes for me.
Jackie Spielberg.
Far from it. Now,
you never know. You have to start somewhere. Jack.
I'm debating whether to hopefully go into potentially me masters in sports journalism. That's what I'd like to do. I'm not really too bothered, even like doing stuff behind camera as well, like with the videos and like productions of other videos and that, mate. But yeah, massive thank you, mate, and really appreciate all your support over the years, mate. So
don't worry, bro. I ain't going nowhere. I expect to get stuck back into it. The boys are back in training, so hit the like, hit the share, give us up, show us you care, and of course, Anfield Road TV. Show as much love to him as you do to me. That rhymes. That's a poem. It's beautiful.
Go at that.
But listen, Jack. I mean, we're back in pre-season. The boys are back in town. I'm going to call him Dominic, by the way. I'm not even going to pronounce it. I'm just going to call him Dominic.
Give it a go, Dave. Give it a go.
Big Bad Dom. Big Bad Dom. No, Big Bad Dom. And, of course, Alexis McAllister. I mean, it's great to see them ready to rock. I think there's a huge season coming from Hackbo. Huge season from our new number 9, Captain Chaos Nunes. But we're going to talk about all that. Get your stuff in, guys, on the comments as you guys make the show. But we're going to chat about the possible mass exodus of club captain Jordan Henderson, Thiago Alcantara now being linked with a move to Barcelona, and the fabulous Fabinho in the background with a possibility of the Saudi Arabian magic carpet whipping them away. Big money, of course, 3-4 times. Who knows? Bonuses, whatever you want. The money's ridiculous. It's crazy. Yeah. That Saudi league for me, Jack, I think what they're trying to do is set a basis for some sort of a league that eventually will be able to pull players across because of the wages, because of the power. Yeah. We all know how wrong that is. We all know you can have your opinions on it, and there's human rights in Saudi Arabia, all that rolled into one. Similar with Qatari World Cup. We know all about it. The problem is money talks, unfortunately, in this world, Jack. No matter how people say it doesn't, it bloody does. Now, Henderson will have an issue, I'm sure, or some sort of a backlash. It looks like he wants to go now after originally saying maybe not 3 times his wages. He's 33. He's probably saying 2 years there and that's it. I'm set up. I could probably buy shares in Liverpool. But, I mean, the thing for me is LGBTQ plus and gay rights. He has all this, the rainbow shoelaces, football laces and shoelaces and stuff like that. Being a big advocate for a lot of charities, does loads of work in the background. They all do. Thiago Alcantara does as well. He has his own foundation. They all do. Fabinho as well does too. So the question is, if Henderson does go, and I know Liverpool will have the final say, they'll want a few quid for him. He's a club captain. I wanted him to stay, I have to say, just to have him there as a mentor, have him there as experience. He's a captain. He's lifted everything. He's lifted more than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. So for me, I wanted him. And if you look at Thiago, Hendo, and Fabinho, they all got different attributes. They've all got different age groups, and all that type of thing. I don't think the 3 of them go. I just can't see the 3 of them go unless we've got 3 coming in. I can certainly see one of them go. And out of all of them, possibly 2. You would have to think. I think Fabinho reported 40 million. Now, I don't know how true this is. I mean, it could be bullshit. Who knows? But if you're being offered 40 million for an injury-prone Fabinho, and he can bring in a Lavia or maybe even a Casado for a little bit more, but way younger, and go again. What's your thoughts on the whole hullabaloo, basically?
There's really a lot to unpack, and we'll do that on tonight's episode, mate, won't we? But firstly, I'll speak about Fabinho in a little second, mate. But in terms of relation to the Jordan Henderson one, mate, obviously with him being a massive advocate for all the campaign and stuff that he does as well. But he does, as well as of what a performance, he's the captain's captain in the Premier League, obviously with the COVID pandemic, in which he was very instrumental in getting everyone together and helping the NHS. When he speaks, everyone listens around European football as well. I think the way I'm looking at it, mate, is in relation to if he is to get this big wage, it's what he does with that money in relation to you've got to look for himself, his family, his next 10, 20 generations of his family. Well, his family will be absolutely sorted for the rest of their lives anyway. But in relation to what he does with that money in a positive aspect point of view, for all the charity work post his career within football, whether he goes into coaching, whether he goes into the media side of the game, or whether he goes into, I anticipate Marcus Rashford to very much go into politics. Whether Henderson goes down a similar route, but it's what he does with that money for me, mate. He'll put that money to good use. Of course, there'll be a lot of disappointed Liverpool fans or fans in general as well, and there will always be. But I think whatever Jordan Henderson does, we've got to respect his decision first and foremost. It's at the end of the day, everyone comes from different walks of life. Of course, we've all got to respect every avenue. Everyone's different. But I think Hendo will be firstly thinking about himself and his family, and of course, he will be listening to other people around him. But whatever he does, I think we all love and respect him. Obviously, a little lad when he come from Sunderland, a right back from a very. He was always difficult, wasn't he, Dave?
I did a little rant. Well, a little 5-minute rant on Twitter. I don't know whether you've seen it, but saying the amount of stick he's gotten the last few weeks. He's always got sticks.
He's always had
when
that.
he joined Liverpool, he was getting stick, wasn't he? And then he almost left, if you remember.
For Fulham.
And then put on his basic, said, listen, I'm going nowhere. And then lifts the league after 31 years, lifts the Champions League, was in 3 Champions League finals, League Cup, FA Cup, Super Cup, did everything, Club World Cup. Dreams coming true, you know, that type of way. So
yeah, it's I love him, mate. And I'm hoping, I said on my video today, mate, if it is to, in the next 24, 48 hours, that he is going to potentially go to Saudi and everything gets ticked off in terms of contracts, I'm hoping, as we know with Scousers and Liverpool fans around the globe anyway, within a matter of minutes, if Liverpool tweeted on their socials, everyone get to Anfield, we're going to be saying a big, massive farewell to Jordan Henderson. There needs to be a massive send-off. It can't be a case of him jetting off to the other side of the world without a massive goodbye. I get you've seen with Ruben Neves, his interview, you've seen a lot of emotion. But I don't want it to be a video goodbye. I want it to be a very much case in point of thousands of people turning up at Anfield and very much showing all of our love, whether that be virtually as well or just in person, because let's just not forget all the criticism that he does. Me and you have been on YouTube, Dave, for like 6 years. He has been an integral part and a massive part of playing this football club in terms of the ups, the downs. But I'm excited for him if he does go to Saudi. I think in relation to what we just mentioned there, I think he will be hopefully a positive beacon of light to hopefully bring discussions to that league and hopefully bringing people together as much as he possibly can. A lot of talk was in relation to his England. It would hamper his. He was thinking about obviously on the England national side for the Euros. I think if he went over there, you look at a lot of the talent that's already gone over there. Jota from Celtic, he's 19 years old, big future for being if he goes over there. So I think the Saudi League will eventually be playing in the Champions League. Give it 5 years, well, probably less than. We know what UEFA are all about. It's just all about money for them. And Premier League's all about money as well. So if the Saudi League throws enough money UEFA's way, I think they very much will be in the Champions League very soon. They're already in the Club World Cup anyway. For Saudi clubs to win that. So it's only a matter of time. Really.
My worry is, and I've been saying it for a while, Jack, where there's money, there's corruption. Where there's money, there's just power. Power and money, same thing, really. I have a feeling there will be some sort of reigniting of the Super League, because it will be, you'll have a Super League and the final could be in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia or something like that. They'll definitely try that. You know what I'm saying? No doubt about it, because there'll be so much bloody money. They'll be licking their lips. The
boxing as well.
The footballers mightn't like it, but the accountants will be licking their lips, and the owners.
Yeah, they were salivating in the early 90s as well, mate, with the Premier League. Let's not forget the Premier League is awash with money as well, mate. I don't think any Premier League fan can sit in our high horse and going, oh, they're spending too much money. We've been absolutely destroying leagues up and down the land. Manchester United bought the Anthony for 100 million. And I had, when we signed Gakpo, a load of Dutch PSV fans going, you've absolutely pulled one off here, because they were all laughing, all the Ajax fans. Like they get £10 million for winning the Eredivisie. But like the Premier League, everyone's going on about like Saudi are destroying football. No, it was the Premier League and the likes of La Liga in relation to Real Madrid and Barcelona. Money's always been awashed within the 100+ year history of the institution of the game. At every level, as you alluded to there, Dave. With
I think the problem is, Jack, when it becomes obscene, there will always be money there. There has to be money, but it's when it becomes obscene amounts of money. I'm talking about $1 million a week and all this type of stuff, and agents' fees and fellas getting backhanders and brown envelopes, and it really gets. I don't know how you cap it. I really don't. I mean, it's just crazy, but. When it becomes obscene to the everyday working man and working, say, woman that can't have enough money to go to a game, they can't afford a season ticket, no chance, but they can't even go to a game on a Saturday. You might live around the bloody corner from Liverpool or United or Chelsea or whatever, and they can't go. It's because it's 60, 70 sterling for a ticket.
Yeah,
I think that's when you have a problem.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it's up for the bigger channels and the bigger influencers, really, in terms of media, the likes of Gary Neville, Carragher, really, to bring these discussions to the forefront, really. We can discuss it, but until bigger people within football as a whole actually stand up, and like we all did with the Europeans, the Super League anyway, no one's going to ever listen to the little man. If you're sat around a table full of billionaires and millionaires and like they don't care.
It's definitely billionaires. It's definitely billionaires.
Trillionaires as well. But there needs to be some form of, just for the whole world, in relation to the control levels and spending as well, as you alluded to there, Dave. The current climate in which everyone around the world finds themselves in terms of the level in which everything, the cost of living, housing and everything, it's difficult. And especially when you've got a young family as well, you've got kids trying to get a kit. Like Liverpool,
there it is. The kit. What is it? What is it? What is the new home jersey with all your bloody stickers on it and all your, Never mind Lazabal's name on the bloody team. 15, 16 letters.
You're looking at 90 quid, and that's even without the patches and the name. But if you've got a family, a couple, good luck telling your kids or like people that you can't get the kit. But it's the reality that the modern society does find themselves in. Like that. I know quite a couple of like my older mates and that, like me cousins and a couple of people that have very much walked away from the game. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have as well. They know someone that got very disenfranchised really from the notion of what football has always slowly become and turned into, but without proper control. I think you'd be looking at like season tickets. Eventually, one day, give another 100 years, you'd be looking at like 10, 20 grand like for season tickets and the modern day football as well. But that's a conversation for, like, obviously we'll discuss it, but I'm hoping that it's a discussion that very much does get talked upon a lot more, really.
Well, I mean, you throw in corruption from the World Cup. We can't go further away. That Qatari World Cup, you probably should have never got it. I'm not saying he didn't put on a good show. It was a great World Cup, but I'm saying that's not the point. The other point of it is the 115. You can put it on your jersey if you're a City fan. Outstanding 115. I think it's even 115 plus charges. There's another corruption level. I'm sure. Juventus, I think, got thrown out of the European competition. I think last week, didn't he? They'll probably get back reinstated. Don't be worried about that. But I'm just saying, where there's money, where there's power, there's always corruption standing behind the lamppost, trying to peek his head out, So you'll always get that, Jack. The problem is, I think, when it gets too big, when it gets obscene, that's when it becomes a problem. And at the moment, it's starting to go that way. People say it's already been there a few years, but I've just noticed it's just getting crazier. The wages are crazy. I just think it's mad. It could eventually go mad, really mad and fast. This Saudi league could make it even worse. You know what I mean? Just push it out to a new level.
Yeah, like every stage in like every 5-10 years, there always seems to be an obscene thing that does rear its head. But with the power, the people that do control in terms of the world football, everyone around the world, it's the fans. Like the fans, as we see with the COVID pandemic as well, that was shocking to watch on the telly. Obviously, with the predicament we did, every football fan around the world did find themselves in. There was the fans are the heartbeat of the beautiful game. And they always have been since the early 130-odd year history of Liverpool. Like every football club, if you take the fans out and every fan around the world started to get bloody holding people accountable, really, in all honesty, then I think then you will see real change. But in relation to obviously the bigger picture, really, made for Liverpool, it's what we then do in relation to that transfer fee. If Liverpool are obviously going to be losing Fabinho, losing Henderson, it's about big up there, Doug. How are we, matey?
Dougie boy.
Yeah, I'm excited in relation to this season as well, mate, because you look at the two players Liverpool have brought in. I don't know if you've seen the inside training video, mate. It's bloody.
Did you?
He is an absolute. Sabozlai, statistically, before he come in, we knew he was one in the top 11 percentile of blocks in terms of attacking midfields in the top of your.
There's an aggression. You know what there is with him? There's like a Suarez aggression with him. He's the type of fella will leave the foot in on a niggle. Do you not think he's a type of a bit of a robbo? He'd be waiting for a bit of shithousery. I can see that in him.
And that's what we've missed.
I'd say he's even like that in training.
Yeah, that's fundamentally what we've missed, mate. Hence why I think we are looking at Fabinho and Henderson moving them on, because that's what they used to be very good at. They were the best in the business at the time. And we all watched Liverpool last season. Everyone talks about, obviously, the season prior, the quad chasing Reds. But a hallmark of a classic Jurgen Klopp team in his time to Borussia Dortmund as well was the high energy, high intensity running from his team, especially in the midfields. It's the heartbeat, and then the football speaks for itself as well. We are, and hence why we push City so tight to the league titles, winning the Champions League, getting to 3 European Cup finals. We can get back to those levels but we need to very much continue to spend on the right players. Doesn't matter about the fees and that, getting the right type of player in, the profile, the quality as well. And very much, and I understand, as we spoke about at the top of the show, Dave, we've already got leaders in that team. You look at Szoboszlai, Hungarian captain, Robbo, Scotland captain, Salah,
Alisson.
We can go on and on and on. Yeah, so and as we know, there would have been disgruntled arguments. We all watched that last season. They were all looking at each other on the pitch going, what he is doing. And there would have been some very hard truths. And I'm pretty sure Millie, as we know, Millie Vanilli, as you call him, Dave, what a legend. But
I know it's true. Millie Vanilli and you. But Millie, you know what? We've lost Millie. But it looks like, now it's not a done deal by any means, but it looks like Hendo could go. To lose Millie and Hendo, and I don't mean on the pitch, I mean in behind the scenes, because both leaders, huge experience, internationals, been there, done that. I think that's a bit of a loss, Jack. You know what I mean? If you do lose Hendo and Millie in the same window.
Yes and no, mate, in relation to, you'd hope, the personalities, as you alluded to, Szoboszlai there, mate. Coady Gakpo, I think, what a signing, mate. We spoke about that last season. He has been a breath of fresh air. I was one of them massive advocates for bringing Darwin Núñez in. I was sat in the Cop watching some young Uruguayan fella turn up at Anfield, and look, like nearly he could have come away with 5 goals on the night or something mad. He already had 3 goals ruled out. I was like, bloody hell, special player. I was like, we need to sign him, and I'm happy we did. And people writing them off after 4 weeks, but that's modern day football, especially on social media. Players aren't allowed a bedding in period. I think a lot of people forget Robbo took a little while. Fabinho took 6 months to get going at Liverpool. And obviously, you could probably go back to the 70s and 80s as well with certain players. But yeah, there's going to be players that I'm hoping, mate, that will step up. There's a lot of talk over the last couple of months, mate, in relation to Trent. I've been saying it for weeks. The big contract captain, like, he will be getting offered the contract. We've seen it with Hippier to Gerrard. Everyone's mentioning Robbo quite rightly, Van Dijk as well. But you look at the phase in which Liverpool find themselves in this season. It's a second phase of a Jurgen Klopp team, and the profile and the age of Trent and the caliber of the lads. He spoke at lengths in his youth career in terms of when he was 10 and 11. The video's out there, and there's quotes of him in the academy for the young players of his age, saying he wanted to lead Liverpool one day, and I think he very much will very much get his wish very soon anyway.
Do you know what as well? Do you know before we continue as well, a little bit of congratulations to the boss, Jurgen Norbert Klopp, who became a granddad, I think, over the last few days. So congrats to Jurgen. I know always pops in and says hello and hits that like button. Hit the like button for granddad Norbert Klopp. Let's go, baby. Hit that like button and give Jack and Doug some of your love. Look, that's a good one from Ravi. But I mean, Europa League as well. Look, Hendo looks, it's not 100%. We know that. Anything can happen. Thiago, bit of rumblings about Barcelona. I don't know whether you've seen that. Also, Fabinho. How big do you think the Stevie G factor is that he is in Saudi? I think it's huge. The fact Stevie G is there.
Yeah, there might be a bit of, well, I don't know if you've seen the video of him trying to coach already. And a lot of people have a problem listening to my videos and Scousers in general when we're on telly or whatnot. We're trying to, I speak. He was trying to coach them, but it was a bit like David Brent. But obviously, there will, of course, be that difficulty in terms of coaching at the minute, but he'll get past that. And I know we all know the qualities Stevie does possess as a coach. I know it didn't work well last year, but he's still very early on in his coaching career anyway. But yeah, he would have played a massive pivotal role, mate. I think not just for the team in which he's at, but in terms of the whole league as a whole. It's not just about attracting the players.
They're using him as a catalyst. They're basically, they want a big name in there to say, right, well, Stevie G's coming here, so something must be right with the whole project. So you'll see bits and nuggets coming. Mourinho, I think, has been linked. You'll have all these types coming in. And I'm going to say it here first on the channel. I haven't heard anybody say it, but I think it's an absolute guarantee. You can pin this if you want, baby. Champions League final will be in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, probably within the next 5 years. Champions League final. They'll bring it to Riyadh. They brought the boxing there, the golf, the live golf. Remember that? All that type of stuff. They'll want a showcase final, a Europa League, definitely a Champions League in Riyadh, capital of Saudi Arabia, in the next few years.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'd agree, mate. It's obviously, I've done quite a lot of the World Cup watch-alongs, mate. I just kept it football to football, really. Anyway, we all love football, and it was a good spectacle, mate. In all honesty, in terms of the football, that final will be regarded the next 100 years. I think it was. No, I'm only 28. I haven't seen many World Cup finals, but that will be one for the history books anyway. And Argentina and corruption goes hand in hand, quite literally.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that the World Cup itself was up there, but one of the best. I mean, there's no doubt the way it was staged, the pitches, the way it was, and all that. Unfortunately, it was the basis. It was the foundation on the way it was, given for a start. We know there was some problem there. Then migrants dying, building the stadiums, another big bloody problem there. And you'll never probably find out the truth anyway, Jack, because it's hidden, it's swept under the carpet. Qatar, a lot of votes and FIFA votes. So that's what I'm trying to say. Where there's money, corruption, and power, there's always corruption lurking there. Just always will be. FIFA, UEFA, whatever you want to call them.
There's no accountability within football, and we've seen that due to when you are the horrible racism that does persist within football. You look at obviously what happened a couple of months ago in relation to Vinny Jr. and the La Liga president coming out with ridiculous statements and all nonsense. There's no accountability at all. I'd even include the Premier League, the FA, all these federations that do control these governing bodies within European football and world football as well. You've got the problem, and it's clean as day, when you are given bigger punishments for betting than racial incidents. It should be the other way around, and you should be banning players and individuals and even stands, like give them a 6-month ban if they're found to be doing the disgusting stuff they've been doing anyway. And yeah, it's the sad reality is that these federations are more bothered about giving bigger fines out just because some fella shows was it Nicholas Bentner years ago when he like showed a Paddy Power like Brandon or whatever, and then it's there, like, and that is where the problem does lie, crystal clear anyway for me.
But what's your take? Obviously, Henderson looks like he could be getting a done deal next. Who knows? Probably even a done deal now, but who knows? But Thiago, time to go. He's a maestro. He's a magician. But it has to come down to being availability is key for me, Jack. We're going to have a big, tough season coming up. We need to get back into top 4. I don't really care. A trophy's a bonus for me, especially if it was in Dublin in the Europa League final. That would be unbelievable. But I think above all, Jack, it's getting back into the rhythm and it's getting back at the top table for me. It really is. The trophy's the bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As Shanks used to say, second's not in any way. It's all about coming first. But as you said, mate, especially with
you've got to be realistic though as well. You never know. I'm not writing this off, but I'm not sitting here saying we're going to bleed and walk away with the league. I'm being realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but football's a very funny game, mate. Like if you get 3 games on the bounce and start winning, I think a lot of the noise behind you does quickly.
If you start the first few games and start losing, the noise is behind you as well. You were tough on the Chelsea in the opener, you know.
Yeah, but I think that confidence and that momentum will very much already been getting built already. It's hence why Jurgen Klopp loves a cheeky little pre-season anyway. Hence why he wants certain these deals, as we alluded to tonight. Once that, I think they're flying out to Germany on Saturday morning or whatnot. Yeah. So what are we on now? Wednesday, Thursday, or
Thursday.
Yeah. So I think a lot of these deals will internally probably already been done. It's just a matter of time, really, when it does.
I would have liked a third one in by now, though. Would you? I would have liked a third one in to go away in the pre-season with them at the weekend. I would have liked another one in. Someone could come in tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean.
As you said before, mate, in relation to Fabinho and massive personality and change of him, I still feel potentially a big, high-profile midfielder, one that will come in straight away.
I'd love Caicedo. I love a Caicedo, Jack. I think Caicedo would set that midfield off. I know people are talking about Lavea, but he could potentially be a Caicedo, but he's not there. He's a year or two away from being a Caicedo. Let's be real.
Yeah, he is the creme de la creme in terms of when you look at the data and everything presented, which all the Liverpool technical staff will very much be looking at that. Lavia, from a statistic point of view, he's below Caicedo. Obviously, slight bit younger anyway, but everyone knows the release clause anyway. Big up, Andy. Hope you're well, mate. But for me, I'm all aboard the Caicedo train, mate. Yeah. The problem would potentially persist is whether Liverpool want to go after Levi Caldwell. Still think we need a centre half. I don't think Thiago will leave, in all honesty. I think he will leave next year at the end of his current contract anyway, because Barcelona are absolutely skint. They do wheel and deal and have done for like the last 12 months anyway. They'd much rather get a player on a free. And I think Thiago will very much see out his career in Spain, especially for his family as well. Yeah. Spanish lad. He wants to go back there and retire very much so. But I think if he went to La Liga under Xavi, obviously at Barcelona, I think he'll be perfect for the style in which Xavi does play, as we know. But I go and 2 midfielders, but one being a high key profile, one youngster.
Yeah.
And of course another centre half. But that's me being greedy. But I think if we did get them in, Dave, it'd be
well, I mean, it depends who leaves. I mean, we've a lot of left, but if Henderson, if 2 out of those 3 leave, Henderson, Thiago, Fabinho, let's say 2 of them out of those 3 leave. I'm surprised if the 3 of them left, Jack, to be fair. But if 2 out of the 3 leave, we have to have 2 coming in at least. Because we're only replacing what we're selling. You know that type of way.
Yeah.
You might even have a Lavia and a Caicedo. Who knows? I mean, Lavia isn't ready made, I don't think, to step into your team straight away. He's had a very good season with Southampton, to be fair. But Caicedo is. McAllister is ready to rock. Dominic's ready to rock. Those boys are ready to roll. You know what I mean? I want ready-mades. I want M&S ready-made meals. You throw them in the microwave, they're ready in 4 minutes. I don't want you putting the roast potato in and you're waiting fucking 2 days for them to be ready. I want them to be ready. You know what I'm saying? Ready-made.
Yeah, whacking them in there. And the chemistry, as we've alluded to, with Jürgen Core and McAllister doing what I've been doing since he's come in, calling him Gary Mac. Go ahead, Jürgen. Yeah, he's Gary. But that's his new nickname, supposedly. But the chemistry's already there from the Brighton days as well, Dave. So, and the problem, well, not the problem, but when you are buying Premier League proven, I know it's a catchphrase that a lot of football fans don't like, but it is true, because if you're buying a player from another league, it's not always, hence we've alluded to with Robbo. Obviously he's from Hull anyway, but in relation to other players that we've signed, look at Darwin Núñez last season, case in point, didn't struggle, but I think with the language barrier and other, it's always it's difficult.
Look, a lot of them bring families with them, Jack. Some have small kids, their mom, their wife, whatever. Different country, language barriers, cultural barriers, everything like that. Obviously, Dominic came from German league. A lot of Liverpool staff speak German. Jurgen Klopp speaks German. Of course, that shouldn't be too bad. His English isn't bad either. McAllister's a bit of English. I love McAllister's laugh. Do you ever hear his laugh?
Oh, yeah, I love it. It's like,
I love Klopp's laugh, but McAllister's is like a little cheeky fella down the back of a class. You know what I mean? Did you do your homework? It's unbelievable laugh it is. It's unbelievable.
Look, he looks a bit like Messi as well, so that's even a bigger plus as well. Little ginger Messi there going on. Will be 100% there for Oswald.
Champions League final for Riyadh, baby. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, look, Jack. I mean, look. I think Liverpool will do what they have to do, but it seems chaotic for me. Now, it could be just paper talk, bullshit talk. I know Ornstein's been in there saying that Paul Joyce has been mentioned, so there must be some truth. There must be some grains of truth in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking about it. But at the end of the day, I just think it's very chaotic. It's very un-Liverpool-like to get rid of so many players and so many midfielders, and then to be giving out about our midfield being lightweight and our midfield not having enough players. But we've already got rid of about 4 or 5. We've only brought in 2. Okay, you can throw in 1 or 2 young lads, but are they ready? No. So I still think there's 2 more to come in, Jack. Even if only one of these 3 go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need numbers in midfield, and we always have for the last 2 years. We're actually just bringing the age profile down with the likes of Big Bad Dom and McAllister. But if Hendo goes, or Fabinho, or Thiago, or both, or I can't see 3 of them, or 2 of them go, has to be at least another 2 coming in there. Has to be.
Yeah, but we're basically doing 5 windows worth within a window. Because me and you spoke with
But it's a risk as well, Jack. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a big risk if you chop and change too much. We've seen other clubs do it, where they bring in too many bleeding players, and it just doesn't work. It's hard to blend. It's hard to... You've got to get the balance, and it's all about me. So I have a little worry in the back of my mind, if they do sell another 2 or 3 senior players, as you'd call them, you're going to have to bring in seniority. You're going to have to bring in ready-made M&S meals here. None of this Aldi 6-hour baked business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's always a risk with every transfer, though, mate. And like with any transfer that you come in, he could injure his leg or whatnot. He could really struggle to adapt. Yeah. But I think that's with every transfer, though, mate. And everyone's talking about the business Liverpool have done. You look at obviously the lack of business that other teams round us. You look at City potentially getting Gavardio. I'd love us to gazump them in relation to getting him. Supposedly a fan. That would be a statement signing for Liverpool as well, not just to City, but for the rest of Europe in terms of the next seasons to come, mate. But yeah, it's. I think, as I said before, when we were speaking to Ivan, Keith, and that over the last year as well, it's the football club's own fault in relation to leaving it this long in terms of moving players out, bringing players in. As I said, we're doing 5 windows worth in 1 season. I think in 1 window, I think it can very much be done. But I understand where you're talking about in relation to obviously players coming in, mate, because you will struggle to adapt in certain elements. But as I said, if we had the dark days of Roy managing Liverpool football, he couldn't even get himself out of a bloody 10th with Liverpool anyway. Well, big up Roy. I don't even know how he's still managing Liverpool, but
He's still going. He's still involved.
Yeah.
He's still with Palace. Where is he? Still he's back with Palace.
Back at Palace now, yeah.
They're going to keep him.
Keeping him. But
listen,
we got
he's full of experience. It didn't work at Liverpool. You know, we move on from Mr. Bean at this stage. But the other thing is, Jack, as well, I think is huge. I think if you bring in look at Everton. I know someone was saying there about Ashley Young. I think it was Everton are signing, and I had a tweet the other day saying Ashley not so young. That's his name. But I mean, look, I don't care what other teams do. It's about Liverpool. It's about getting our transfers right. But we've been chaotic, say, in the last 12 months, Jack. Julian Ward left. Michael Edwards left. Julian Ward's left. Big Jorge's in. There's technical directors leaving. There's players, a big mass exodus of 4, 5, 6 players leaving, all in the same window. You know, finishing outside the Champions League. It was a chaotic season. And I think, I don't know if you call it panic, but, you can press a few panic buttons. That's not the way to do it. I don't think it's Liverpool's style. But I just think it's very, very chaotic at the moment at Liverpool. It just needs to calm down. We've 2 really good quality first teamers in. World Cup winner. One guy, that Dominic guy, big bad Dom. I think this guy, if he hits the ground running, you've another Hackbo there. I mean, you've got potential. He's only 8'22". I mean, he's really, really good. But I still think 1 or 2 more midfield, and certainly maybe even a centre half, Jack. Maybe even, I know Hanko, the fine art, I think he's the fine art captain. He won the Air Division. I did a video on him about a month ago, and it's gone quiet on him, but he's a big Dutch centre half, similar to Van Dijk, of course. I'm sure Van Dijk's in their ear. But it's going to be huge. It's going to be an unbelievable. We're back in pre-season training, and of course next week they fly out weekend to German camp where they play a few friendlies. It's always good to watch the boys on the pitch and kicking the ball around and doing what we like. Of course, what we like. There'll be a lot more shows. Sure, Jack on Anfield Road TV smashing it. So hit the like, hit the share, give Jackie boy some love and a sub. We're not going to go anywhere yet, but I'm just saying, Jack, are you looking forward to the new season, even though it hasn't started? A lot can happen between now and Chelsea mid-August. Loads can happen. I mean, I think the transfer window could explode with 2 or 3 weeks to go with panic attacks coming in. You know what I mean?
It's all very dependent, and I've said it for weeks, mate. It's all what happens with Kylian Mbappe. If Real whack out 150 million or more, that will very much have a detrimental effect in the whole of Europe, but the whole European landscape, in terms of the finances. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate.
The big question would be if Mbappe went to, let's say, Madrid, I can guarantee you PSG would put a bid in for Salah. There's no doubt about it. I've always said if there's 2 clubs Salah could go for, one would be PSG. No doubt about it. He's a Muslim icon. You know what I'm saying? Qatari owned, PSG, building. You let an icon go, world icon like Mbappe. There's not many around, Jack. You have to replace it with something of similar level. I'm not saying Mbappe, Salah's Mbappe, but I'm saying a similar level. So you'd watch that space, but I can't see him going anywhere, and I just hope he doesn't, because, I mean, with Salah there, we have a chance. Anything's possible with Salah with Liverpool,
Yeah, Salah is irreplaceable. And look at the market as well. I said on today's show, not that I'd want him to be replaced, but if he was to ever go or retire at Liverpool, I'd be putting all my chips in for Bukayo Saka at Arsenal anyway. A hugely talented player. Even potentially Elise. I think Elise is very raw. He can play down that
Crystal Palace
side. Yeah, the French international anyway. Played in the under-21, so he's a big talent. There is players out there, really, Dave, but we only have to look at like a couple of the social media clips, how ripped he is, and that's why he's one of the best players in the world. They're all top level athletes, and hence why Salah, there was a lot of not a commotion around Salah getting a big deal, because obviously you're protecting his value. And I tell you what, if Liverpool were to have lost him on a free, it would have been catastrophic from a football and financial point of view. But he's done it. When that time does come, it's going to be extremely difficult. I think it will be a case in point where Liverpool would have to replace him with not just one player. It'd have to be probably about 2 or 3, something that's similar that Spurs tried to do with Gareth Bale when he went to Real Madrid, and he signed a load of players, but never really lived up to any real potential with all their signings, mate. But it's going to be interesting. But as I said, Mo, the whole club needs to start winning more Champions League and Premier Leagues as well. Because you look at Alisson, the greatest goalkeeper I've ever seen play for Liverpool. Obviously, the legendary Ray Clemenses, the Guabalars of the world, and the legends that are. But obviously, Virgil van Dijk, disappointing season last year, but we know how good he can be. I know, obviously, but yeah, I'd like to see Mo retire at Liverpool, but if he gets paid a couple more bob at the back end of his career, then I don't think any of us will have any much.
He could end up in Saudi, I would say, in another year or two. Not maybe now, but in another year or two. Who knows? I mean, the money's ridiculous. I mean, it's hard to turn down, even though human rights and all this in the background. But unfortunately, as I said at the start of this show, money talks, baby. Money talks. Mark Forrest, fair play to you, bro, for popping in. As you say, sad loss if Hendo goes. Looks likely. It's not a done deal by any means. Fabinho, Thiago, all legends of the club. It's always sad when a Liverpool player, especially someone like a captain that's lifted trophies for the club and played for the club and played through adversity when he came in at first, was not like Jack. And there's still people that don't like him to this day. Let's be real. There's a mixed fan base on Henderson. I mean, I see it every day on bleeding Twitter. I know most of them are lunatics, but I did a thing myself on it. You've got to respect. He isn't Stevie G. He's not like Liverpool captains of old. He's not even probably like Ronnie Whelan. He's not Stevie, certainly not Stevie G. But he brought his own leadership style on and off the pitch. You know, he was limited in what he could do, absolutely. But when he did it really well. You know what I mean?
There's this commotion around Curtis Jones has been since we've been doing YouTube, Dave. Like it was people. And what every Liverpool fan does is we get behind players. Obviously, we'll critique them on a certain match day, on a post-match and that, but we'll never stop getting behind them and wanting the best for them as well. It was, Ginny would have an absolute amazing game and people would be like, but no, it was a 10 out of 10 performance. Ginny, it was Jones, it was Hendo, it was Milner, it was players even in the early 2000 period as well. There was always... It's the modern day football as well. There's always got to be an excuse for a result. Like, of course, it's when everything's getting over-analysed now. At the end of the day, if you play bad, you play bad. Like, at the end of the day, it's just about the concentration levels as well on a match day, really. But I think sometimes all of us, even me, can be very much too overly critical in certain performances. But players are human. Last season showed, Dave, all of them probably looked at each other in the changing room going, boys, what are we doing? What are we doing? And it was very not what they're used to. They're very used to everything they touched turning to gold. But it's what makes great legendary teams through adversity. That's where you learn the most, as well, as Bob and Shanks used to say. You look at Keegan, he left. Rushy left, the John Barnes, they all left. Every Liverpool legend has always come a time and period in their career that they left. Gerrard left for the MLS. But what we won't do is Michael Owen, he was an absolute wrath for going to Manchester United. I still don't get, apologies anyone from Liverpool watching, but I don't know how Daniel Agger isn't an ambassador, but Michael Owen is. But I know he won the Ballon d'Or and that, but
and listen, Michael Owen, when I was following Liverpool back in that famous 2 goals, that quick fires in the FA Cup final against Arsenal, remember we were being done and dusted in that. That was over. It was only for him, really. You'd have to say it's won us that FA Cup. So he did have 1 or 2 some goal stats, Jack. When you look back, he had a good goal scoring ratio.
Fowler as well, mate. Like, you look back.
Fowler's a god. I'm talking about Michael Owen here, who's getting stick. You know what I mean? Fowler works for the club. You know what I mean?
Fowler's a legend, but in terms of Owen, there's one thing you don't do, Dave, and that's go to Manchester United. I'm sorry. Like, you don't do that as a Liverpool legend, mate. Big up there, mate.
He knows that he made a complete boo-boo of that, and I think we'll move on from that. I think he's more interested in horse racing. But I mean, look, I just seen one back there. LVFC TV's in the house. How are you, bro? Give him a shout. He's on YouTube. As you can see, LVFC TV in the house. Doug was in earlier. John is in the Glasgow Red TV. Look, these are legends. You can just roll off the tongue here. Kevin Keegan, Ray Clements, Graham Souness, Vladimir Smicer, Sadio Mane in the mirror, left the club for a trophy in the last appearance. We will come strong again with the right boys. Look, I'm following Liverpool since the 80s. I've seen players come and go. I've seen managers come and go. I've seen owners come and go. It will happen. It's the cycle of life, the circle of life, probably as Elton John keeps singing about. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It'd be a sad day when one man leaves the club, and that is Jurgen Norbert Klopp.
100%. I love him. I think Jürgen done, was it a meet and greet? Well, it was like a little talk. Was it last week? I don't know where it was.
Yeah, I seen that, yeah.
Like a dinner.
Yeah.
I would have killed for a bloody ticket in there, but looked like it was obviously for a good cause anyway, in terms of charity and that. But as I said, mate, before, when Jürgen speaks, when people within Liverpool Football Club speak with a lot more gravitas, really, like the whole footballing world does listen. He's a special man, and as we've been saying for the last couple of seasons, Dave, just appreciate every single second of this successful period, and hopefully more successful years to come under the guidance of Jürgen and the lads, whoever comes in or comes out the door. We always get behind every single one of them as well.
Look, people don't realise, I mean, you're going to have fallow years. You're going to have, really, the last few years, Jack, last year aside, obviously, but we had 3, 4, maybe even 5 years of unbelievable football, unbelievable goals, moments, celebrations, trophies. People took that for granted at the time. I remember talking to you doing videos saying, this won't last forever, lads. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. I've seen it come and go. It's cyclical, up, down, like a wave. It's good one year, brilliant next year. You might get 2, 3 years in a row. It's unusual to get 2, 3, 4 years where you're right up there. If you're up against a team like City with their 115 charges and all the money they have, even to be on their coattails, Jack, is a big deal.
They've been relegated more times than they've won Premier League, so...
Well, they've won Champions League in the pocket, so who's to bet against them getting another 1 or 2? Well, Pep is there, you know what I mean?
Liverpool will always be in the way, mate. They absolutely hate us as a club anyway, and I'm pretty sure all of our lads, every single player in that team, and that's what's going to drive the bond going into next season.
Yeah.
The absolute spoiled brat nature of that Manchester City side. Or waxing lyrical, oh, great, Pep, go on, break every rule in the book. Go ahead, boys. But we will be back. I'm hoping, I'm confident of that this season. The lads will be absolutely gunning for it in pre-season. As long as no one gets injured, we want to be. I'm hoping the lads are not 100%. And none of us are really bothered about the results, and don't want to be too overly critical. Because I was at that game against Strasbourg and at Anfield last year, and bloody Ibu went down. You're like, oh, and that very much played on until like the 6-7 months into the season when he come back. It wasn't ideal, but I'm hoping they just play with a bit in reverse, really, in terms of not going 100%. Because when it comes round, because as we spoke about last season, Dave, and everyone, they looked like they had absolutely ran themselves absolute ragged in terms of the pre-season. It got to the Community Shield. We all thought we were going to have a successful period, but how very wrong we were. But yeah, it's about setting the precedent, really, from the first second within the Premier League campaign and just focusing one game at a time. I think I think every Liverpool fan, it's difficult as fans to not get too far ahead of yourselves. But that's what I think Liverpool, in our successful period, Dave, have done so well. We've managed expectations. We've been there with Rodgers in terms of league campaigns. We learned it with Jürgen, not the first season, but we eventually got there. It's about just building stages gradually and then building momentum at the right period within the season.
No, I'm looking forward to the season already, to be fair. Nigel has it right here. Any Reds fans who lived through the 90s will know it's tough, because the 90s were pretty fallow when you look at those white Armani suits in the FA Cup final against United, and that stupid Cantona goal I always remember running out of the pub nearly crying. But it was, Nigel, absolutely right. We will rise again, too strong to be kept down, says Mark Forrest. The 90s was a bit of a blur for me in general, so I coped. The blur and Oasis, I suppose, were in the 90s, my friend. But Jack, we'll leave it there. You're only meant to be on for 20 minutes. We're into 50. So hit the like, hit the share, give Jack and Anfield Road TV some love, give him a sub. There's loads of content to come. Liverpool are back. in pre-season. They fly out at the weekend to Germany. We've Big Bad Dom in and Alexis McAllister.
Before we go, Dave,
yeah,
try and pronounce the second name on it. Go on.
Sorry, Dominic.
Yeah, go on. I'm gonna go. Szoboszlai. That's
Dominic Szoboszlai. Yeah,
Szoboszlai.
Dominic Szoboszlai.
There we go.
Yeah. But no, look, I'm gonna call him Big Bad Dom from now on. I swear to God, that's all. The big Domestos ad from the 80s. Big Dom, Big Dom.
He's a big lad as well,
Big
isn't he?
Bad Dom. What? Yeah. He's a big boy as well. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But look, Jack, as usual, there's loads more to come. Keith and Ivan will be back on the city to talk all things red. Jack will be doing his stuff on Anfield Road TV, of course. Doug will be doing his stuff in the Dugout Football Channel. Connor from the Cop Council. Kevin will be in with you. Spider, of course. Channels all over the shop. As I say, guys, enjoy it. It's a big season for the Reds. But for me, get players in, get players out. It's all about stability and getting back at the top table, baby. We need to get back into the top 4. And if we get a trophy or 2 on the way, it'll be an absolute bonus. Stay safe. Talk soon. You never walk alone. Jackie boy, the exodus has begun. Cheers, guys.